This is
WAW!
What a Week.
What a Week. PoliTricks.
Welcome back to WOW What a Week, hashtag PoliTricks. He's become our Minister of Interpretation, a minister with VIP status, but without the blue light motorcade. If you ask this minister to toe the party line, he'll tell you what to do with your line and your party. So please give a warm welcome back to our Politico, Botsang Modimowame Moiloa. Botsang.
Good morning, Brother Fresh. Guys, you know, I must stop Fresh Tato to call me Botsang. I don't know where there's that Botsang come from. But yeah.
I can only call, so we must twang your name.
Oh, I kill the and you know, I'm sad that I'm a minister of interpretation, and without blue lights and a motorcade, when am I going to be upgraded? Yeah, and I think our viewers and followers are not fair on me to say you are doing good, you are enjoying, but at least blue lights in Yana.
You'll be upgraded when you stop fighting government agencies that want to get rid of you. Then that's our upgrade.
Why would a government agency get rid of a source, a good source they can use wisely?
With incredible work ethic.
Exactly.
And experience.
That's what government needs. Why do they?
Uncorruptible.
Actually, one of our former board members asked the CEO, why do you want to get so much rid of this guy?
Exactly.
Imagine that CEO who was saying, he's so damn good. You know, Fresh, I was thinking last night, I worked for the agency for 13 years.
Sure.
In the 13 years, 11 of the 13 years, there was performance-based rewards.
Oh, yes.
11 of the 13, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, for 1 year I was home, I was on suspension, so I worked for 12 years.
Sure.
11 of the 12 years, there was awards. I received performance bonuses 9 of the 11 years.
Oh, wow.
9 years in. So I cannot be found wanting in delivering what the taxpayers employed me for.
Absolutely.
In a sense. So, but anyway.
In fact, it's been quite a year, including the fact that you've had to go to the CCMA to fight for your job back. You won at the CCMA. It's now in the Labour Court. What is happening with your case, Botsang?
Look, what is happening with my case? Sadly, actually, during the course of the week, on the past week, Sunday night, the guy, I've been representing myself in court, and the guy who has been helping me behind the scenes pro bono passed on a horrific car accident.
Yeah, but this week?
This week, on Sunday night. And he was also the attorney, the instructing attorney of Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane's case. So he was a very specialist in labor matters and all that. And we are family friends. My youngest daughter sees him or saw him as an uncle. And he has been helping me with the case. We spoke on Thursday. He was traveling to Durban. He said to me, I was supposed to file papers on Tuesday in court. Sure. He said to me, send them to me. I'll look at them over the weekend. I'll give them back to you on Monday. We're supposed to meet on Monday. And Sunday evening, he passed on. So my case, I think there's a little bit of witchcraft in it. It's stalling, it's delaying, but you know, the government has the money, they're wasting time, they're having advocates and attorneys. But yeah, we're still at the Labour Court. We'll go into the Christmas, into the Labour Court. But I'm not fighting the government. That's one thing that I am not fighting the government. I am fighting for justice.
Sure.
I just want my job back, and if they don't want me, they should expel me procedurally.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying. But to go and create fictional stories about me that they now can't even, you know, uphold those stories. Why am I sitting at home and they're holding my monies? So it's not about fighting the government. But let me tell you, I think I'm reviewing my life where I still want to be a public servant. And a lot of people are saying it will be a loss to government, but nobody's talking about a loss that I'm suffering and curing at the moment.
Yes.
But I'm reviewing. I don't know after 2024 elections what will be the situation in South Africa. I still wanted to serve the government 5 to 10 more years. But when you are not appreciated by your own government,
sure,
You peg, it's like in a marriage. If you are not wanted, no matter how much you love a person, you walk.
Eventually, you go to where you'll find peace.
Eventually, you go to where you find peace. And
Yes,
I'm on
sir.
that phase of trying to find peace. I am doing a free job with WAW What a Week, this platform. I'm enjoying it.
Yes, sir.
I can say whatever I want to say without offending people. Actually, I've noticed that the more I say things that politicians see them as wrong things, it's only in this platform where everybody sees them right. I've got ANC ministers talking to me.
Sure.
I've got politicians. I've got even the opposition people talking to me saying, hey, we are watching your show, this, that. And by the way, congratulations to us. Our analysis last week on the 43 so-called buses in Bay Bridge.
Or the children unaccompanied minors.
Unaccompanied
on a
minors,
bus
yes.
for Zim, yes.
Guess what?
What?
Everybody, including officials,
Yes.
have talked to me on the side to say, actually, you guys gave a much more better and clearer story than even the government. On a serious note,
Oh, wow.
even government officials, they were like, hey, you actually said it more right. And that's what I said. If you know what you are doing, fresh, I watch your channels, your shows and interviews with other people. Nobody will take the media away from you,
Yes.
no matter what they do. And it's so funny that we are both unemployed, hustling, and we are sitting with talent, and we are making fun out of our talent.
Sure.
And people are benefiting from it. I'm actually getting worried, guys. From next year, this thing of me coming here and advising politicians and public servants on how to run government business, they are getting this
For free.
for free. No, it can't be right.
Okay, we'll fix it.
Yeah, we must fix that
So
part.
call us, guys. We can do this for you for it's a nominal fee.
Actually, WAW What a Week PoliTricks is doing a much better job than the government communication agency, GCIS. There's a lot of things that people have heard here that GCIS were supposed to communicate. Somebody told me that they didn't know about the children travel certificates. Somebody told me that we once spoke, oh, by the way, and I hope Mamuluku Kubai, the Minister of Human Settlements,
Yes, sir.
is watching this show. There's a lady who called me and she said, Botsang, thank you to Fresh. I've received a proposition for, those middle cost income housing.
Oh, yes.
Remember, we had
those
it all-
grants.
with
Those
those
grants
grants
for housing, yes.
for housing because she doesn't qualify for RDP and the banks don't want to fund her. Single mother living in Oliver and Houtbosch, single mother of 2. She's got a job. She says, I want to pay for a house. And because of our show and our discussion on this show, she approached Human Settlements. And she says, Botsang, I haven't received the house yet, but I can see the progress. And thanks to you and Fresh. I'm like, hey, go bloody write it on the page, man. Stop praising me. What am I getting out of that? So I don't know whether that woman or Minister Mamuluku must pay me for that.
And I think that's the funny thing and the unfortunate thing, that a lot of political heavyweights watch this show,
Yeah.
but they can't come out into the open
I agree.
and say either they're watching the show or the show gave them a different perspective, or that I agree with you here about my fellow comrade.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they can't come out in the open.
But why?
Because sometimes you don't want people to know exactly your feelings. They must assume you're towing a party line versus what you truly feel.
You see, this thing of towing the party line, I have a problem with it, as if the party line is supposed to be a secret thing on the side, as if it's a wrong thing. The fact that they are keeping it secret and they don't want people to be seen as not towing the party, it means there's something wrong with the party line.
The bottom line is your average party is not as democratic as they'd like for you to think they are. Because if they were true Democrats, they wouldn't have a problem with Botsang calling out the party
Yeah.
based on principle.
Yes. And that's where democracy is proper. But what is happening is not democracy.
So a lot of parties there's nothing democratic about the party because it's about the party and it should be about the party.
Yeah.
But just don't say you're Democrats.
Anyway, Fresh, we should find a way, because we must eat, we must live, we must feed our kids. We should find a way of engaging political parties and the government, because we mainly talk here on this platform about government processes and issues.
Sure.
And for example, last week I was with somebody who said to me, I didn't know that we've got the first grade coal in South Africa until Fresh mentioned it. And then I'm like, and I'm like,
because there's disinformation out there
Exactly.
about our coal situation. The disinformation out there that our good coal is being exported, that is why there's load shedding. Load shedding has nothing to do with the quality of the coal we're exporting.
And that person was very impressed. He was like, yo, you guys have educated me. I didn't know that our what do you call it, power stations cannot use the first grade coal. And why is Eskom not telling us the truth?
No,
why does it have to take Fresh and Botsang to tell us the truth?
No, but Eskom have never denied it, though. Eskom have never denied the fact that RB1 coal is exported because it's in demand overseas, not because we don't want to use it. Our coal station can't use it. They're built for lower grade coal.
This noble person, and she says, I never acknowledge her that she's also giving me topics for the show, Mapula. She says to me, I hear what you are saying with Fresh, but why didn't we build our power stations?
Because they're old.
Use.
No, because don't forget that our power stations are old.
I know, but you was asking me the questions. Why didn't South Africa build or upgrade? Kusi Lemidupi is not old.
The
it
new
was
ones.
building the new ones. Why didn't we upgrade the current ones to can use the coal, the reserves that we have? You know, that's what
we are still using the reserves that we have.
and I said, look,
we don't have a power station problem. I don't believe.
That's an engineering problem. I'm not an engineer. I'm an administrator. I'm a politician. I'm an activist. So I'm not going to go and answer for Ramukhopa. Maybe what we should also do from January, we should once a month have a politician or a public office bearer, a minister or what, in the show. Once a month, not too much, because I don't think it will be boring to have an interview like other platforms. Everybody else is doing it. We should bring the newest minister, if he won't be fired very soon as well, to come and talk about these things, and we ask those questions.
Yes, sir.
But I don't know why is the GCIS and the SABC, I'm talking about public platforms, not talking about things that we are talking about. It's still, I hear what you are saying, touring the party line, being given direction, but yeah.
Do you believe we have too many political parties? Because we have another political formation, Roger Jardine, launched a Change Starts Now platform, which has already poached, I think, one or two stalwarts from the ANC.
The ANC, yes.
In fact, Secretary General Balula was talking about how, these parties are obviously trying to cripple the ANC, in inverted commas.
What's wrong with that?
And that's what politics is, though.
Yeah.
Politics is a contestation of ideas, and in saying you have 20 seats, I believe I could take 10 of those. And by any means that are legal, I will do that. If it means I poach some of your stalwarts because they're, I don't know, disgruntled with the state of the party, then so be it. Look, that's what politics is.
Fikile Mbalula is the last person to can lament on that, because if he can go to an extent of buying EFF t-shirts to ban them at an ANC event, why would he cry?
It was symbolic.
Yeah, but what's symbolic? Please. Actually, you know that incident, and I'll get back to Jardine. Yeah. That incident, those, and I don't know why is Dalimpofu not advising the EFF. You know they can lay criminal charges, because remember, a logo and a flag of your political party, it's your patent right. So for them to buy in order to destroy, it has a malice effect. You understand? It's okay when Botsang takes my old political party t-shirt and I ban it. It's mine. But for another political party to go and spend money to can do that, it has malice, intentions and practice on it. There's a legal case on that. But going back to Jardine, actually
let me tell you why I'm asking if we have too many political parties. Because we have all these formations, but all of them are saying the same thing pretty much. Why are they not saying, okay, guys, we all have a similar goal here. Let's amalgamate and have a bigger voice.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Power, greed.
Sure.
Everybody wants to be in power.
Okay.
And that's the only problem. Everybody wants to be the boss. Let's look at it from the SARA party. It's actually, SARA is not even a party, it's a coalition of few parties.
Sure.
You remember what Colleen Makubela said? She said she is the face of the party, and Cope and Tara Lekota withdrew because Tara Lekota wanted to be the face of the coalition. So it's all about power. I read and I listen to manifestos of all these political parties. You look at, for example, Themba Godi, the former PAC leader, the leader of the APC, who once had a seat in parliament, now lost it. The manifesto of the APC, it is absolutely what the PAC stands for. There's no difference. Then you ask yourself, why did he leave the PAC to form the APC?
Exactly.
But it's because people are power hungry. Everybody wants to be in power.
So everyone sees themselves in parliament, is what
Yes,
you're saying?
everybody wants to be in parliament. Everybody wants to have free lunch and benefits and to sleep. Remember, sleeping, it's a privilege. They also want to sleep. You know, doctors will tell you sleeping, you can't laugh because we know they sleep. What else do? They sleep. So everybody wants to eat free lunch. They want the government perks. They want to be seen on television. They want to be seen talking for either 8 minutes or 15 minutes in parliament. They don't see value add that they can do to the people. Because when you look at all opposition parties, if I take the DA and ANC are talking the same language, but we know that they will never be together except when it's a compromise situation.
Sure.
Then the EFF comes with a mixed masala, you know, of the DA, ANC, and Africanist manifesto. Then you have everybody else speaks the same language. All other parties, their manifestos are the same. They copy from each other.
Absolutely.
And you ask yourself, we are going to sit in ballots in 2024 with 3 ballot papers.
Sure.
56 political parties. Understand? And it's all because there's no other reason, Fresh.
So, for instance, we look at this new formation from this week that Jardine started.
Yes.
In the bigger scheme of politics and grassroots politics, do they even have constituency? Does your average person in a squatter camp or kokasi even know who the hell they are, what they stand for,
Exactly.
or how voting for them will benefit them?
Exactly. They don't know. People don't know. People will just vote because there'll be food parcels during the voting. But they don't know. I never knew Jardine until this week.
Sure.
Actually, when I went to search, I realized
When
that
you only know Jardine.
that he is a former DG in government and all that. But that guy, what constituency is the guy bringing? And it's all about money. Let me tell you, it's money. There is so much money that is being invested by imperialists and capitalists in political formations in South Africa.
Sure.
And the whole process.
And some of these parties that are opposing each other are being funded by the same people.
Same people, yeah. Israel is funding about 5 parties in South Africa now.
Are you for real?
Yes, 5.
Yo.
You understand? 5 new small political parties in South Africa. And let me tell you, somebody is asking.
Sure, surely if a country is allegedly funding 5 different parties, surely that's pushing for regime change.
Yes, they're pushing back, but funding a political party in its nature,
Sure.
it's because you want to drive your agenda
Sure.
for regime change. The only reason we are sitting with over 50 political parties in South Africa is because those who are interested in controlling South Africa, and they realize that they can't do it anymore with the ANC. The ANC is used, it's like a nappy. They've been owning it. And sadly, ANC members and followers get upset with us when we tell them that you don't own the ANC, you belong to the ANC. Johan Rupert, the Oppenheimers, the Mellons, and whoever, they've always owned ANC. Every ANC leader has had a price on their head, directly or indirectly. The fact that the ANC receives its money from white capital, that's why its members, its ministers, and employees, they can't think independently. It is because somebody is feeding their stomach. It's feeding their party. So if I give you money,
Sure.
you will tell me what to do or else I'll withdraw my money.
Will all of these new formations springing up be of any consequence in the bigger scheme of things? Because obviously the goal here is one: reduce ANC's majority to below 50%.
That's the only thing they will achieve.
But are they going to achieve that?
They look fresh.
The way that obviously fragmenting everything now. Because for a person who doesn't have time to find out what this party stands for, what the manifesto says, why it would benefit me and my family to vote for said party, they're going to default back to what they know.
That is the danger. You know, for the first time this past week, for the very first time, I had discussions with two people that are very influential in my life. And for the first time after listening to you, by the way, I do get swayed as well.
Yes, sir.
I think the ANC might come back victorious, and a lot of people are gonna eat a humble pie, not because they are good, because people will say, "What nonsense is this?"
Like it's a long ballot paper, so let me vote for who I know.
Let me vote for what I know. For who's this? What is these people going to do? The intention of all these other political formations, you are correct. It is to reduce the power of the ANC, to eat away the ANC.
One bite at a time.
Personally, I think it will be good if that happens. And not because I hate the ANC or I hate the book. I come from a family with ANC leaders and founders of the UDF. But I think it will be good for this country if the ANC can lose power. Power has got into their heads and they are misusing it.
So are you saying that Motlanthe was right in saying ANC needs a wake-up call? And if it means losing just one election,
yes,
so
that they can go, that it will help the ANC. And this is what they don't understand. If ANC loses elections in 2024, loses power 50%, they will come back in 2029 a better party because they would have learned. They will not deploy people who are incompetent, corrupt people and so forth. They will not have a secretary general who is the worst in the history of the organization. Even their own members, it's not me saying it, ANC members, I mean over 30 ANC WhatsApp groups, ANC members are saying Fikile Mbalula is the worst SG they've ever had. But I laugh at them. I'm like, you are dumb guys. You elected him. You put him there. You have known him. He grew up in the ANC. What did you expect? You know, I looked at the video of Ntate Mavuso Msimang during the course of this week because Fikile Mbalula accused him of being bribed and taking money. You know, the old man, you remember what I said last week on the show? I said, this old man, these youngsters are going to kill them with heart attacks. I could see that Msimang shaking, you know.
He's demanded an apology, though.
Yeah, but again, what did he expect when he elected Fikile into that position? What did he expect? He knew Fikile, it's his child. Fikile grew up in the ANC. Why do people expect Fikile Mbalula to behave differently when he's got more power? He's going to be worse. That's what power does. You become worse. The real you comes out. And I had a discussion on Wednesday night with a friend who said, and that's why he swayed me to say the ANC may come back. I must start making peace with these ministers because I'm looking for a job, you know. And he said to me, Botsang, why do you think none of these people has called Fikile to order? Even when Ntate Msimang is asking for apology or Pravin or what, you can see they go like begging, like they're talking to a principal. Yes, he's the SG, but he's a child. And when he does wrong, let me tell you something that has never happened. Are you aware that not even once did Cyril Ramaphosa call Fikile Mbalula to order? Not even once. In all the things that he has done wrong.
So what are you saying? What are you implying?
He's got a hold on them. I'm implying that Fikile Mbalula knows something about all ANC elders and leadership that they can't touch him. He's got a hold on them. And that's why they can't do anything to him. They can't. You can't have. He moves everybody from Thabo Mbeki to Zuma to Ramaphosa to elders to juniors. Everybody, he just does his things and nobody's calling him to order. They are actually begging him to withdraw and behave in a different manner. Nobody is howling. Fikile Mbalula has conducted himself in a manner that he should have actually already faced a disciplinary hearing in the ANC, but they will not do that. That shows how power corrupts people. When people have power, but people have power over you when you allow them. We allowed what is happening in South Africa. South Africa is in this state of affairs because we allowed the ANC to do to the country, to the nation, to the people as it wished. You understand? I mean, I was listening this week, one of their ministers, Pravin Gordhan, saying we are on state capture 2.0. Now, Pravin Gordhan is the Minister of Public Enterprises. Almost all public enterprises, SOEs, are being sold or fractioned. Now he stands up and he says, the country's own state capture too, but his ministry is busy selling state assets and enterprises, and people are okay with that. People are okay. We are no longer even on what do you call it, on a pilot mode when the
Autopilot.
on autopilot. We're no longer on autopilot. We are going down, and the ANC must go down to save itself. That's what must happen.
How do you think the EFF will do next year? Let me tell you why. I was watching an interview Nhlanhla Lux did the other day, and he was talking about how, in the bigger scheme of SA politics, EFF is actually a very small party. They just have good PR on their side. That in the bigger scheme of things, they're actually a tiny party. What are your thoughts on that?
Is Nhlanhla still existing? I haven't heard of him.
He's still around.
Oh, okay.
Still around.
Yeah, Mr. Lux. Anyway, the EFF, I don't know why Lux says it's a smaller party when it's the third leading party in the country. I mean, but they've got the best PR. I give it to them.
Sure.
And it looks like also the EFF has members and leaders who are all talented to can be public speakers. There's one advantage they have. Take any EFF leader, whether it's national or regional, and put them on the platform. They can sell, whatever they want to talk about. That's the advantage they have. I think they will still do well. The EFF will grow maybe 2-3% more. They will get more, also because of people being marginalized and not interested in the ANC and not having other alternatives. They will go. I don't think they will become the second biggest party. The Democratic Alliance will remain the second biggest party in South Africa, but the EFF will grow. And that will reduce the number of votes in the ANC as well. But I think they're doing very well on PR. And South Africans are a nation that also loves and believes in what they hear and see.
Sure.
They don't interrupt. People don't read manifestos. Let me tell you, the AZAPO and the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania and the Black First Land First movement, they've got the best manifestos for black people in this country. The best. If you look at those manifestos, they are actually, every black person should be voting for one of those parties. But who reads manifestos? Who reads that? Who sits on TV? People don't sit on TV and listen to political leaders talking about manifestos. They actually sit and watch TV to watch WAW the week, because we simplify things, we talk things in an easy and simpler manner. But if me and you we form a political party, we lose track, because people are not interested in politics, you understand, of paper and logic. I listen to the leader of SARA, this coalition of SARA.
Sure.
For me, they make more sense today in what you just asked about. Why don't all these parties come together? And SARA has done that. It's 5 or 6 parties and other civic organizations have come together. It makes more sense. But I'm wondering if people are listening to them, if people are hearing them. People want service, people want tangible stuff. And that's why the ANC will beat these parties.
Sure.
You understand? Because they will provide tangible stuff in the last minute.
But is that not why maybe, for instance, even the new party is going after ANC stalwarts? Is them hoping that, especially the older people generally get stuck in their ways. So if I know this party, that's what I'm going to vote for.
Yeah.
If that's where I've been buying my rice and my pap for the last 50 years, that's where I'm going. Isn't that part of the strategy then?
It won't work.
That if you bring Abu Msimang on board, maybe you can convince the older electorate to vote differently.
The older electorate are very loyal people. Old people are very loyal, as you said. I don't think that Msimang or Ntate Mbeki or anybody moving from the ANC somewhere, the margin will be very low. Because people are stuck with the green, gold, and black, number one. They are also not convinced. Remember, in politics, you must convince people.
Sure.
Our democracy has not matured enough that people are voting with their conscience, with what can be delivered in manifestos. People still vote for historical reasons. People still vote for, my father was an ANC jailbait or exile or what. You understand? And that's how we follow politics. I mean, I grew up in a big family. My great-grandfather, Ramotsere, was an ANC stalwart. And his kids follow the ANC, and his grandchildren follow the ANC. It's only because my dad was a Pan-Africanist, and then that family of rebels branch to be a Pan-Africanist. Then I became a Pan-Africanist because that's the language I knew from home. You understand? But I wonder if I was the father of Pule's father, my Ramukhulu, would I have been a Pan-Africanist? So that's how the mindset of black people, and it's like that all over Africa. We look at Kenya, people in villages, you look at Zimbabwe, they still vote for what they grew up with. The new generation, that's why it takes almost 30 years for people to can vote for a different political party. But in South Africa, the dynamics are different. Our youth that are supposed to vote ANC out now, they are not interested in politics.
Sure.
They don't see the value of politics. They are not educated. And somebody was saying to me, why don't me and you, how do I put it? Why don't we educate people about the electorate? Why voting is important? I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. People have been pushing me. Said, I don't want to do that because the IEC has a budget that they're supposed to use to educate people on how important the votes are and why should they vote. How can it change their NEFSAs and their lifestyle? And people want us to use our platform. Let the IEC fund this show. We can educate people on why election. But you know what? They will not do it. And I'll tell you why. In Africa, and this is what African leaders do, you keep your people dumb, not educated, not informed, and being beggars.
Okay, so it's not in your average politician's interest to have a critically thinking electorate.
No.
Is that what you're saying?
If you have a critically thinking electorate, they will tell you are full of nonsense. They will take you out immediately. That's why in countries where democracy is matured, you get governments changing every 6 months, every 1 year, every 2 years. You look at Israel, you look at India, mature democracies. They change governments frequently because the electorate is educated. The electorate knows the power they possess.
Sure.
You understand? With us, to keep people uneducated, uninformed, and poor, it is actually to make sure you remain in power, because they will always come begging at you for what you can do.
And you'll always have a solution.
And you'll always have a
Here's
solution
a food parcel,
at that moment.
here's a grant.
Let me make an example.
Yes, sir.
NEFSAs. You know, I thought about this, that on our last show we should talk about this. People are saying NEFSAs is not distributing money fresh. Let me challenge every South African and Dr. Blayton Zimande. NEFSAs is a scam. If you look at the budget of NEFSAs, including from the minister, now when I say the budget, not what they give to students, I'm talking about even the cost of running the organization or the agency, from having a minister and a deputy minister, a DG, a commissioner, what. If you look at that budget, it's billions. If they take those billions directly to universities to can have a free quality education, you cut the administrator. Why do we have NEFSAs when that money that is paying the salary of the CEO and the commissioner can be given to a certain institute? Let me tell you, the money, the cost, and people have done a study. The cost of having free quality education in South Africa, it will cost us 15 billion per annum. NEFSAs is consuming more than that. When you look at the whole value chain, not only the budget, the whole value chain. So why don't we take the NEFSAs money and give it to universities and institutions and technicons and colleges, and students can go and register and study? Why? Because somebody must eat.
Sure.
People must come and beg. Youth must say, the ANC has paid for my studies. Mothers must wake up and say, when my child matriculated, the Ramaphosa government paid for my child's studies. Nonsense. You know, you are making people to become beggars. You are giving people grants. One of the incidents that happened in the Free State years back, and I don't know if you will recall, the former Free State Premier and Tate Ismakashule went and approached prostitutes in around the Free State to say, you guys, girls being on the street, it is not right. You say you are doing this in order to get money. Come, I'll give you bicycles and I'll pay for your studies. Go and register. They refused. They refused. You understand? To say, no, I want cash in hand now. Man, fresh come service, I get cash. You want me to go and sit in front of a question paper and textbook? No. Ace Makashule went to an extent of even saying, okay, continue with your business, but let us do it clean and formalize it. They refused because their clients don't want to be seen.
Absolutely.
You know, so this is the mindset up of our people, that poverty, we have romanticized poverty. You know, we want to we want to struggle. We want to earn a salary. We want to be hired.
To just get by.
To just get by. You know, I said to somebody this morning, you are working so hard. You wake up, you work hard, you work every morning, but you are still poor, you're still broke. Why? I'd rather be broke, be like me. I'm broke because you know what I'm doing? I'm doing focal. I just sit.
Yeah.
I've given up. But because I've said, when I used my skills, when I render services, I was still broke. Why should I render a service and still remain broke?
Exactly.
No, let me not render anything. You understand? And if we can move from that mind shift, like the leaders of West Africa are doing, the former French colonies they are doing, they've moved, the mind shift has shifted to say, we should stop dependency on government.
Absolutely.
If we can stop dependency on government, we can remove this government. We can tell them they are useless. We don't need ministers, man. Why do we need a minister of electricity when there's an engineer? Let's apply our mind. Why do we need a minister of electricity, not an engineer who can provide electricity?
In fact, that was going to be my next question. Appointing a minister of electricity, was that a hit or a miss?
Look, it was a miss, a complete miss. It didn't make any change. Matters got worse. The government budget got higher. We've got a new minister, a new team, new blue lights, new bodyguards, new MP, everything. So Ramaphosa came in with a ticket to say our belly of the cabinet is too big. Instead, he increased it. And none of the people who put Mr. Ramaphosa there are saying, hey, daughter, you said you will reduce the cabinet, you increased it. Even now, on the last minute, you put a minister of electricity. It was a mishit. It was a complete miss. It didn't make any change. If they would have collapsed the two other ministries into one, it would have made a difference. And I've said it before. We needed a technocrat. We needed a form of a CEO or a DG or an engineer, somebody to focus on energy crisis. They've just appointed a CEO. But having a minister for what?
But he's there now. So going forward for next year, how would you advise President Ramaphosa?
Number one, President Ramaphosa must cut the cabinet to 20 ministers. That's the first thing.
Because as it is, people are saying, what's the point of having a minister of electricity, but that doesn't have powers to make decisions? Because they rest with other ministers.
Yes. No. Dr. Sputla Ramokhopa, Khosientsho.
Yes.
He is actually like a begging child. In order for him to function, he has to listen to Gwede Mantashe and to Pravin Gordhan.
Sure.
Understand? And the public and the president. The poor man is caught up in this whole thing. It's useless. That's useless ministry. It was a waste of resources. And I'm not saying Sputla is useless. Sputla is a very good person. He's trying. But waste of time and resources. The cabinet moving forward. And President Ramaphosa is also indecisive. He's an indecisive minister. There's scandals every week about his cabinet and his people. He's not doing anything. He's not saying anything. He's actually absent. If you look at it, President Ramaphosa is absent. Yeah, this is for full-time leave. Can the man just do us a favor? Resign and let somebody with vibrancy and young come and take over. Even if he can resign 6 months before the election, can the man retire, man, and go and focus on Pala and the dollars and the buffaloes so that we can have a strong, decisive leader? We don't have that. The president is on a serious note. He doesn't want to release scorecards of ministers. He doesn't want to release his bank statements. He doesn't want to go to court for Pala. Now, even the court has found him this week that he even appointed the Zulu king wrongly. He's doing everything wrong. And we are sitting. The president is doing everything wrong. Bekele Beke. You know, President Ramaphosa must call him Bekele. Every week, there's something that President Ramaphosa has done wrong. And we have become so comfortable with it. The day he does the right thing, because sometimes he does. The day he does the right thing, we get surprised. How did the president do the right thing? Because we are so comfortable with him doing the wrong things. And we think it's okay as a nation. We are on autopilot now. We are going down. The ship is sinking. The country will go into elections ill-prepared. Very ill-prepared. I don't think the IEC is doing good. Trust me. I don't think the IEC is doing good. They are not doing enough. And I can tell the ANC is showing the signs of being afraid to lose the elections. They have started manipulating, and it's very easy to manipulate votes and elections. You manipulate the media. That's it. The media talks rubbish, talks other things that are not into elections. It's very easy. Then when we wake up, ANC will have 58%. And people say, Kanjani, because the people will have not voted because we didn't pay attention.
Absolutely.
You understand? And these smaller political parties, they don't have the muscle, they don't have the money, they don't have the resources to can watch the ruling party. And it is for the best interest of the DA and the EFF for ANC to win. Trust me. And people will not understand what I'm talking about.
So
the
explain.
DA and the EFF, they know they will not rule this country. They are in a better position to go into coalition with the ANC, which will win. You understand? So they need the ANC. They know the ANC will win, whether they get 45 or 48 or 51%. So you make peace. This is strategic. You make peace with the fact that this animal is here to stay. I will need to work with this animal called the ANC in future. So all these other parties, smaller Nyana ones, they don't understand that game. Julius will be sitting with, if ANC gets 47%, which is what I'm predicting, Julius will be sitting with his 17%, and he will say to the ANC, give me deputy presidency. And give me 10 ministers. I'll give you my votes. Then we have the majority. The DA will do the same. The DA will go to the ANC and say, to accommodate white people and investors, the DA is going to play that card. To accommodate investors and white people and foreign direct investment, let's go into coalition so that investors and Europeans can see that we are democratic, we are a rainbow nation. The DA is going to play that card. The ANC will be saying, the ANC being weak, it's actually going to be the kingmaker this time, because they will be sitting there and looking at all the small parties who will be coming like puppies. You know, Inkatha with their 6%. If ANC gets 47% and Inkatha has 6, even 5, the ANC can say to Inkatha, we'll give you 10 ministers.
Yes.
You understand? Come and be with us.
Maybe not 10, maybe 1, but
exactly.
they'll dangle a carrot.
So the people who don't understand politics, they will know that ANC losing power is going to benefit itself.
Sure.
Because then they will start doing the right thing, they will appoint the army. Remember, they will have lesser people to deploy. Now, this time around, they're going to deploy the right people. Because I think, even if their minds are not working, at least they should know now that deploying the wrong people has damaged the organization. So I think them losing power, like in metros, they were very comfortable. They were getting tenders and they lost the metros, and comrades did not have anything to eat.
Sure.
They were stuck with comrades that they couldn't deploy because they didn't have power in metros. It's going to happen in the national government, whereby them deploying CEOs, commissioners, and DGs and DDGs is going to be reduced.
Sure.
So now when it gets reduced, you don't deploy the do-me-sos, the nobodies. You will deploy people with good caliber, qualifications, and experience. And this is the lesson that the ANC is going to learn out of this. Well, if they learn, but I think sometimes you must be very hard to your children for them to learn the hard way. You know, as Mama used to say, when the candle is burning, I used to look at my younger sister, will put the finger, then my mother will say, leave her, let her burn.
Let her burn.
And then my sister growing up knowing that you don't touch a flame.
Sure.
And that's what the country is going to teach the ANC.
Let's leave the country for a second. It's been a big year, especially in West Africa, on the coup belt.
Yeah, you like calling it the coup belt.
Where countries are saying, actually, no, we want self-determination. We don't want to depend on our colonial masters.
Yeah.
We don't want to be providing minerals for colonial masters to keep the lights on when our people barely have electricity. We don't want to use the franc. We don't want to use the dollar.
We don't want to speak French.
We don't want to speak French anymore. There's been a lot happening. Is it the start of a bigger flame, the spark, or is it isolated and Africa will continue to operate the way we've been operating?
I'm glad you are raising that. I don't think it's isolated. I think it's a start of a bigger flame. I call it a secondary decolonization.
Okay.
Africa is now going to the second phase of decolonizing itself. And it started with the French. Funny enough, historically, as much as South Africa was the first colonized country, the French, former French colonized countries were the first with the revolution. They produced some of the best leaders in Africa. You know, the Kwame Toures, the Thomas Sankaras, and all this.
Yes.
So they are actually doing what they've done before, leading the secondary revolution of the continent. But what is very interesting with the, what do you call it, the coup belt, the former French colonies, you know, especially those three countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, what is interesting is these youngsters were the military. In the past, we were brainwashed and taught that military coups are bad for democracy. But now we have come to realize that actually these coups are actually good because they are doing what liberation movements were supposed to do historically. To say we are taking back our land, we are taking back our culture, we are taking back our minerals, and we are going to run our countries as we wish. You know what I liked about this Burkina Faso leader this week? What do you call him? The military young man. What I liked this week, he said he is not going to be dictated by anybody, including ECOWAS, who his friend should be, whom should he trade with. And people are like, he's arrogant. I'm like, but is it not supposed to be like that? When you are a president or a leader of a country, is it not supposed to be like you choose who your friends are, who you trade with, and how you trade with those people? It's supposed to be like that. Why now is the world worried that the former French colonies, this guy is very serious. He went to an extent of even saying, French is no longer the official language in this country. It's just another language. You can speak it here, but all government papers, no more French. Local languages. I mean, that's a revolution. When we speak of a revolution, that's what we talk about. We talk about that one day we'll wake up and say, we'll have this show and we'll speak Setswana throughout. But because we are chasing an audience, we are speaking in English. But he's serious about business. He's doing deals with China, with Russia. No more French. No, you know, they even dispose of the French franc as a currency. And we have said it, me and you, that you know how crazy these Africans are. France ditched French, the French franc, the franc. In, I think, 1998, 99. But they still use their former colonies to use the French franc. And they are not using it. They're using the euro. And these youngsters, I think that's where the continent is going. It will delay in South Africa. We are still jiving and dancing and enjoying amapiano. So we will do it last. You know, we were first colonized, we'll be last to be free. But this thing is going to fly into other countries. It happened differently in other countries. For example, if you know the history of Rwanda, this kind of revolution happened in Rwanda when President Paul Kagame and the RPF marched from Uganda and took over Rwanda. It was part of the revolution. They took over, and until today, Paul Kagame is still sitting there, and I looked at the clip this week where he was saying... Has he not extended? Is he not extending his term? He's extending his term. Look, what do you call them? The what do you call it? There's a term you use, the dictator. You know, he's a good dictator. Or benevolent dictator. A benevolent dictator. So Paul Kagame is there. He's a dictator. But he's doing good. It's like Kim Il-sung in North Korea. You know there were elections in North Korea about a month ago. There were elections, and there was one ballot paper and one person contesting, and just the king himself, and he got 99% of the votes. The other 1% is people who didn't go because they were sick to vote. And he said to the West, you see, there's democracy. People voted me into power. So Paul Kagame is doing the same thing. But Rwanda is benefiting from having Paul Kagame there. You understand? So they are happy. And I think the incidents and the coups and the revolution in West Africa, it's a good cause. I think it will spread to other regions of the continent because people are tired. The youth is tired.
What of democratic processes then? Like, what is it all for if the military can simply come in and say, Botsang, we're tired of your rubbish, we're taking over?
Look, it does not have to be the military all the time. There can be other forms of revolution. Understand? There can be people saying, we are walking into parliament, we are going to take Ramaphosa and throw him out of that chair, and Fresh will sit there. There's various forms of revolution. It doesn't have to be military. But democracy also, we must remember, it was imposed on us. Remember what happened. The colonizers came, they colonized Africa. Then when it was time for them to leave and they realized that Africans are rebelling, then they introduced democracy. And they introduced it in their terms. That's why in South Africa, we are sitting with the most glorified constitution on earth, but we are the most unequal society on earth. You can see that disjuncture because the former colonizers and the imperialists, they dictated to us the form of democracy we must embark on. You understand? We went to studies. Ministers used to go and do a study tour on democracy, and also we copied from the colonizers. And that's the challenge we are sitting with.
And you know, democracy is all good and well, but in the bigger scheme of things, as people on the continent, we never had elections. The chief or the king was the custodian of everyone. They made sure that everyone had land to plow.
Yeah.
If there's no food, and no one went hungry.
Yeah.
No one went hungry. If we knew that Moiloa don't have food, when there's harvest, Moiloa will have food.
We'll have food, yes. But when we ditch that,
Yeah,
and like I said, the colonizers told us that monarchy is very bad.
sure.
But they still have monarchy, the King of England, the Queen of England, and all that. And they told us it's bad, we must have democracy. While under monarchies, Africa never starved. People, there was less violence.
Sure.
There was more respect. There was growth. Yes, we have to evolve as a nation and as people. You know, there's technology coming in and all that. But I personally think monarchies better governed Africa than democracy did. Democracy did a lot of damage. What we should have done, we should have found a way of having democracy to run a central government, but keep the monarchies to can manage and instill Ubuntu and you know the ethics and the values of the society. I was listening in the radio the other day during the week. They were talking about land in rural areas. If you go to Limpopo, if you go to Beggarsford, when you enter Limpopo, you see these beautiful mansions in very, very rural areas because land is free there. You go to the chief, you talk to the chief to say, I grew up here, or my father grew up here in Dinokana. I want to come and build a house here and settle down home. You get land for free. No, we don't want that. We all want to be crowded and cramped in the concrete jungle of Gauteng. You understand? But when you look at the quality of life, in what we call rural areas, they eat better food.
Sure.
We eat rubbish. We eat plastic. We don't even know what we are eating anymore.
Sure.
They plow, they farm, they eat organic. Me and you, we buy organic food at Woolies is more expensive than anything else. The person that we look down to or upon in the rural areas, they eat organic food.
Exactly.
They plow it, you understand? And people running out of eggs and potatoes and spinach and the people in the rural, what are you talking about? How do you run out of eggs when I've got more than enough eggs in my crop?
To feed my family and the next family.
To feed my family. And this is what the government should have instilled on people, self-sufficient.
Sure.
And we failed to do that. We thought, and I sit and I honestly, I sit and I reflect and I say, all that I wanted to do after completing matric was to study, to wear a tie, and have a very big office.
Sure.
You know, to be my balani of government. That was my dream. Look how messed up I am now. That I sat for almost 26 years of my life in government offices. For what?
Only to be fired.
Only fresh. You are forever going to be reminding me that I get fired. But you know what? I actually get fired for nice things. At least I'm not fired for corruption.
Absolutely.
I get fired because I refuse to be corrupt.
You're incorruptible.
I'm incorruptible. I you know, as the mother of my daughter used to say, Botsang, we could not be suffering today. You refuse roja. You were earning a good salary and people were saying, let's eat more. And you refuse. Now you are sitting home with nothing.
Exactly.
But I sleep peacefully. My conscience.
Now, two issues as part of our wrap-up for the year are the two wars. There's the war in Ukraine.
Yes.
And there's what's happening in Gaza.
In Gaza, yeah.
And I don't even think it's a war, what's happening in Gaza. It's one...
No,
it's a big kid hitting a small kid.
Yeah.
In the bigger scheme of things. And, you know, the U.S. vetoed a ceasefire resolution. Pretty much everyone had said yes. Yeah. But because of the unfair nature of the Security Council, one nation can say, nope.
Yeah, and the whole thing collapsed.
Not with my friends.
Yeah.
And everything collapses.
Well, it's true, the UK and the US.
But they still turn around and say, but Israel, please just, be careful for civilians. And
kill them nicely. That's
what
the US is saying, Israel, kill them, but kill them nicely.
We'll give you all our nice toys and our nice bombs, but please be careful, man. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Again, the US security, and United Nations security,
it's a fuss.
It's a fuss. It's useless, And I don't know why do these other countries in there still go and vote when they know it will not make a difference. They're wasting time. Look, what is happening in Gaza?
What would it take for this whole system
to change.
For it to be overhauled.
Now-
And what stops nations from saying, we don't want to be a part of this party as long as it benefits 6 superpowers?
Yes, money. Money. It's all about money. If the UK, and I don't even know where does the UK get money from, because they have fuck all. They have nothing. They have nothing. The UK is one of the smallest countries on earth. It has nothing, no minerals, nothing. And they are a superpower. The boys in West Africa, they are teaching the world something with Putin. To say, we've got the oil, we've got the minerals, we've got the gold, we've got everything. Let's use that.
Come, let's work.
Let's work. And that's what it will take. It will take countries with minerals to say to the United Nations, go to hell. The UN, you are useless, you are being controlled. But another thing is, when I studied industrial psychology, I studied industrial psychology at second year level. One of the things that I learned, they call it ergonomics.
Sure.
Like where you are sitting, the way your office is set up, it influences your thinking.
Sure.
You understand? The day the United Nations is not sitting in the United States of America, it will change also the mindset. The fact that the UN headquarters are in the USA, let's take the UN headquarters to somewhere in Africa, in St. Petersburg, in Moscow, or China. You will see the mind shift. You understand? Because, I mean, you are in my land. I can tap your phones. I can control what you eat, where you stay, and all of those things. And that's the first thing that will happen. But the countries with minerals and that are not being seen as superpowers, they should actually gang up and say, we are forming a body in the world that is a real United Nations, not a USA, UK, France.
Where there are no faves.
We are all equal.
We're all equal.
We're all equal. And let me tell you, it will take real leaders. It will take the Thomas Sankaras of today, the Paul Kagames of today. I nearly said the Jacob Zuma. I know people will hate me for saying that, but I think Jacob Zuma falls into that group. He's defiant. You need defiant leaders.
But surely then it means then you are foregoing all aid then.
Why do you need aid, Fresh?
Because the aid is literally what they have, like your balls are in their hands.
I didn't want to use those words to say, they are holding Africa and other countries with their scrotums to say it's aid. But why do you need aid?
We don't need aid.
We don't need aid. We have everything. And Burkina Faso and Mali and Niger are proving today to say, but we don't need France. Why do we need AGOA? Why do we need foreign aid? Why does President Ramaphosa go to the IMF and borrow billions? When we've got money, we can tell these mining companies it's enough gold, this diamonds, these minerals, this coal, we are going to sell it to have money for the country. For the country. Why can't we do that? We have leaders. We are talking about leaders in Africa being held with their balls or their teeth, whatever. I'm saying let them use those balls wisely, differently this time, to say, I'm going to rise as President Ramaphosa. I'm going to tell these countries, you are not mining my land anymore. We will mine our own land, because we do mine the land. The work is done by our people. And we'll sell this in our terms to can fund our debt, to can fund our lifestyle. Why do I borrow money to come and produce electricity that is being used by miners to mine my minerals to fund the borrowers?
But my people don't have electricity.
But my people don't have electricity. But also that I'm saying, we borrow money from IMF or the Germans. They give us 8.5 billion. You can produce electricity. We produce electricity. 70% of that electricity, it's being given to the mines that are mining our minerals. And these minerals profits, they go to the borrowers. What stupidity is that? Really? What stupidity is that? Why don't I mine my minerals to feed my people? And that's how a leader, but they don't have balls. Well, not literally the balls, guts.
Let's go back to the wars. What's going to happen? Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Palestine.
Look, I think with Israel and Palestine, sadly, Israel is going to wipe off Palestine. Sadly.
I was going to say, what do you think the end goal is?
Let's look at reality. This thing is continuing. We've even finished making noise, and the all ANC leaders are no longer wearing the Palestine scarf. So we are finished. Everybody is now silent. People are focusing on Christmas and snow. I think Israel and the U.S. intention is going to be realistic. They are going to wipe off and extend the occupation of Palestine. It will stop when they are satisfied, when they have arrived at a point to say, we have taken enough now, control of Palestine. This is what I think that's going to happen. When they've taken enough more land, because this whole thing is about extending the hold on that land, and the people of Palestine are very marginalized, are very small, they will eventually give up on this whole thing. Hamas will continue to be there, and other resistance movements. They will continue to be there for many years to come, but it won't change the status of Israel on this, unless the world, you see, what is going to change the situation in Palestine? It's everybody else except the Palestinians can't do it themselves. It's all, unless the other countries that are claiming to be friends of Palestine do something.
How is it that the world can sit and watch at the rate that it is? There's often parallels drawn between the Nats and apartheid and what's happening in Palestine. But you don't hear the world saying, we're going to isolate Israel, that there'll be sanctions against Israel, that you're going to be ostracized, that if you carry on like this, you're not part of the global community.
Yeah.
Surely there's a problem.
There is a problem because Israel is ruling the world. I've said earlier on when we were discussing that Israel, for example, this year only, is funding 5 political parties in South Africa, and they can hear them, I can mention them, but they're funding them. And why would they do that? It is to go and diffuse this thing of anti-Israel gang. And they are doing it all over the world. If they do it in South Africa, they're doing it all over the world. I don't think the world is affected. You know, if Israel was bombing South Africa or any other country that the world is benefiting from, like Botswana, the diamonds, where they benefit, if they were doing that, the world will turn around, because then their productivity will be affected. But the world is not getting anything from Palestine. That's why they don't care. They're not getting anything. So you want to raise the humanity part, to say it's inhuman. What happened to Ubuntu and humanity? But the world does not care about humanity. We are focused in our corners. We are focused in our beings. As long as I eat, as long as I'm safe, you understand? We don't care about humanity. Yes, we try. Yes, we feel sad that the people in Palestine are dying in front of our eyes. We do. There are people with powers, and I've said it on this platform. There are countries with military. South Africa itself has sent people to the Central African Republic, to the South Sudan, to other countries in Africa as peacekeepers. Why are we not sending our armed forces? And I'm using my country as an example. Why are we not sending our armed forces? I'm not going to talk about the UK, the US, because they are pro-Israel. Why is China and Russia, with their equipment and what they have, why don't they send their armed forces to go and defend the people of Palestine? Because they have nothing to benefit out of Palestine, and that's it. Russia is engaged in a war with Ukraine. In February, it will be 2 years. That I told people it's not going to end. People thought the US and there were 7 countries, NATO, pushing. Putin alone, if you want to see how powerful Russia is, Putin, one country, has defeated 8 countries militarily, and he's still fighting. The war is still going on. We don't hear about Zelensky anymore. We are no longer interested about Russia-Ukraine things anymore. You know, it's okay. People are still bombing each other, by the way, there. People are still dying. Russia is going into elections next year and all those things. And the world is quiet about it. Why? He has defeated them. The fact that we ran out of wheat from Ukraine, then we found alternatives for wheat. So we forgot about Ukraine, you understand? But if Ukraine was producing something that is unique and that the world needs, like oil and diamonds and gold, the situation would be different. And the war in Ukraine is not about the minerals. That's why, again, they don't care. It was about reducing the powers of Russia.
Sure.
That was. But if it was around minerals, like happening in the DRC, we could be hearing about it everywhere. But because it's not about minerals, it's about reducing the power of Russia. Now they've been defeated. They must go back to the scoreboard and focus what to do with Putin.
But have they been defeated, or is attention just now on the Gaza Strip?
Nah, I think
because Zelensky, bless his soul, he loves attention.
Yeah, but Zelensky,
if there's awards, he wants to be there.
Yeah.
He wants Ukraine to be the top of mind
Yeah.
at all times. So I'm certain it upsets him that the world is focused on the Gaza Strip right now.
It does, but Zelensky is a joke. Zelensky, we must not forget that Zelensky is a comedian by profession. You understand? He thinks he's acting. Look, what can he do, Fresh? What can the president of Ukraine do? What can the man do? He can't do anything. Those that promised him power and money have been defeated. That's why I'm saying they are defeated, because with all the superpowers militarily behind him, Russia is still standing on its feet. So for me, that's a defeat in war terms. They have lost the battle. And now it's just continuing, they just have to live with the consequences of saying that country was destroyed for refusing to enter into diplomatic engagements. And its family, it's like us and Basotho fighting. And we decide to go and bomb Lesotho, forgetting that we are family actually. You understand? And that's what happened between Ukraine and Russia. But look, the US has its problems. That's another thing. The US has its own problems. And then the US will focus more on Israel, their baby, and their creation. Remember, the USA created Israel, the state of Israel, the UK and the US. So they will focus more on nourishing their baby Israel than on this little confused child called Zelensky. And I think that's where the attention is shifted. But those are some of the challenges the world is faced with. We must be very thankful for us in the southern tip of the continent that we don't have battles and wars like that, except, Mozambique has been in and out of wars for many years. You remember there was 10 years of a war in Mozambique between Renamo and the other party. And but we are in a more peaceful. I don't know whether we are peaceful or we are cowards, but maybe it's helping us to not get into what is happening in other regions of the world. But I honestly think the USA is what we call it. It's like a cancer to the world. The problem with the world is the United States of America. All problems of the world emanate from the US. Where the US did not infiltrate or influence, interfere. There's no wars there. You look at North Korea, you look at some of the Arab states. The minute the US interferes in any of the Arab states, there's uprisings. And the problem of the world is the United States of America. I mean, these guys, which normal person go and vote for no ceasefire or peace? Guys, let us use basic logic. People go and vote in a Security Council to say we are going to vote for peace and ceasefire. One country or two countries, they vote to say, no, there's no ceasefire. What kind of a normal person? And we still recognize those people as human beings. You vote for no ceasefire. You vote for no peace. What do you vote for? If you don't vote for peace, what do you vote for? You understand? And people still think Americans are normal people. I don't think they are normal. I don't think any human being who finds joy in killing another person is a normal person. You can't be normal. That even their soldiers, I see them when they load their jets, fighting jets, they do it with pride to go. We are going there to bomb people, to kill people.
Banyile.
Yeah. What kind of a human being? It's like corrupt people in South Africa. It's like corruption is so rife in our country that there are people in the government and in the ANC especially, and the DA, who when they are not doing any corrupt act, they feel abnormal. It's normal. It's normal to say
to be dropping bombs on other countries. It's normal for them, and we want to think those are normal people. Those are not human beings. Then the definition of humanity has lost its meaning. When I can be friends with somebody, it's the same as you having a friend that his job is an inkabi, is to kill people, and you still keep that person as you drink with him, and he tells you, when you say, hey, I was in the studio, the show was good today, and he comes and say, hey, I was at the taxi rank, I killed 5 people. And you are still friends with that person. I mean, that's what is happening in the world. President Ramaphosa goes and hugs Biden
And it's okay, we didn't kill 70 people in 1 hour. And President Ramaphosa says, stop killing 70, man, kill only 5. I mean, why do we keep such relations? And this is why
Is it not called diplomacy? You're a diplomat.
No, but what diplomacy? How can diplomacy supersede humanity?
It did, long ago.
Yeah, but then why do you keep it? Why do you pretend as if you don't want the children of Palestine to die? We, South Africans, we cried to the world to isolate South Africa. We asked the world, isolate South Africa apartheid regime. We lost Volvo, we lost Pepsi, we lost a lot of things that I liked. Now, why are we not standing up and saying the world isolate Israel? Why? We're not saying it. We are saying ceasefire. No. Before we say ceasefire, we should say Israel, leave our country. Where's the ANC? With the, I told you don't fly, you remember? They took a resolution. Israel ambassador go close the embassy. Hey, everybody was making noise. Julius Malema marching. It's over, Baba. We are going for Christmas. They marched, they made noise, they wear Palestine scarves, they were on TV, agitated. It's over. They've made noise. It's over. It won't happen again. Actually, I must say people like Kenny Kunen of the Patriotic Alliance who stood up and said, Viva Israel. They are much better than these fakes who were saying Viva Palestine and did nothing. You understand? I don't agree with him, but I'm saying he took a stand. He took a position. I don't agree with his position, but he took a position. Where is the South African government, Minister Ntshabeni, my favorite minister, what we call Magogo of Derco, Naledi Pando? What happened to the beautiful speeches? None of them, not even once, a South African politician has stood up officially and said to their neighbors and friends, let us isolate Israel.
Sure.
None. Nobody's calling for that. We still keep them here. We still buy their products. And do we think we're a good nation? No, we are not. The Mandela story of saying until Palestine is free from the river to the water, it was just a speech because we're doing nothing about it.
And on that note, we've been going on for almost an hour and a half.
Yeah, but it was a year. An hour and a half, Kuvesh. You know, I had wished actually for a change, Keleto Mudisake didn't stop us. But it's a year.
No, she's been trying. She's been trying. But I paid someone every time she comes out of the office, they must pull her back in.
Oh, okay.
So
but,
she's been trying.
You know, sometimes I wish in future the camera guys can just turn, and he once made that video on I think it was on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
To show the back scenes, the guys who are doing the job. People think we are good. They don't know that there's people behind the scenes who are, except one person who's always harassing us to stop talking.
Exactly. So every time the show is short, you can blame Keleto for that.
Yeah.
If we look good, you can blame Trevor Lee Tumelo for that.
Yeah.
If we sound good, you can blame Kuvesh for that.
Apparently, I look good on the cameras here.
You lose 20 kilograms on camera.
Am I fair?
Brother man, it's going to be an interesting year next year.
Yeah.
It's also an election year in a lot of countries, South Africa, Botswana, the
Russia.
US, Russia. So it should be an interesting year politically next year.
It will be. It will be a very interesting year. We'll have a lot to do. I think I've got some plans on what we could do in the show. There's been followers who are suggesting what we should do. I'm buying to some of the ideas.
Okay.
I've lined up, and I'm talking to their offices, 3 very senior political heavyweights.
Okay.
One of them never talks to the media, and I'm talking to their offices. They will have them on the show.
Okay.
They've tentatively agreed.
Yes, sir.
To can come. That's one element. Another element is there's a friend of mine. I'm gonna call her Lindiwe because you don't know her as Lindiwe. She's working on rebranding the show.
Okay.
She's looking for sponsors for us. I had a meeting with her on Tuesday.
Okay.
And she said, look, you and Fresh are doing a good educational platform. She never liked politics. She has been my friend since 1993. And she never liked politics.
Did she friend zone you?
No,
Is she the one that got away?
She's saying she has always asked me to have my own media platform and TV show. She has always said that. She's one of the people who encouraged me to write a book and to be a writer and author.
Yes, sir.
And now she said, look, Botsang, I owe this to you. I think I want to come and reprint and get sponsors. And one of the sponsors she spoke to is some company we grilled on this platform. So we must also be very careful by banning our own.
You must be careful.
But, this is the truth platform.
Yes, sir.
We say it as it is, as long as we don't offend.
It's not personal.
No, it's not personal.
It's not personal.
Yeah. So that's what I'm looking forward for us to do next year.
Sure.
And I think and I know you've got great ideas. I know you're gonna come with something greater than this, but so our followers and viewers can look up to a much better, much improved, more vicious
Sure.
PoliTricks.
More honest.
More honest.
More hard-hitting. Botsang,
Yes.
thank you so much. It's been an interesting year. It's been a ride and a half. And yeah, man, thank you for your insight. Thank you for your take no prisoners approach.
Yes.
Because I think that's what analysis needs. Analysis is not about, like I said, it's not personal.
No, it's not personal.
This is what we are seeing and how we are seeing it.
Yeah.
It's not us going after people. It's not us being against certain people. It's just us saying this is how we are viewing things as they happen right now.
Constructive criticism.
Well, there's also that where
One of the people we both love, Panyaza Lusuvi, we have criticized him on this platform more than anybody else.
Sure.
And it's because we like him. It's because we know he can do better.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, it has been a very good bumpy year in PoliTricks. And thanks to the followers and the viewers.
Sure.
Thanks a lot to them.
We'll see you next year.
Yep.
Have a Merry Christmas. All the best in 2024. Looking forward to a brand new book.
Yes,
And,
yes, definitely.
And hopefully this government agency finally actually capitulating and admitting they were wrong and giving you your job back.
I think I must go to church with my mother and pray for them. You know, they need a prayer. I must go back to work. These people must heal and accept me to come back and do what I'm trained to do and what I do best.
Absolutely.
But thanks to you, Fresh, thanks to the team, and let everybody be safe. And the followers, please, guys, do not drink and drive. Drink and sleep. At home.
Exactly.
Yes.
Sharp blackout. It's been another episode of hashtag PoliTricks on WOW What a Week, coming to you live from Amped Studios, downtown Johannesburg. WOW What a Week is part of the Africa Podcast Network. Shout out to Pezulu Works for the cinematography, Trevor, Tumero, your entire team. We appreciate you guys. Otis the Flow Fraser for all of our audio imaging. Our guest, Botsang Modimowame Moiloa. Our creative producer, Kuvesh Mohan, and show producer, Keletso Modisakeng. Have yourselves an incredible WOW festive season. We'll see you again in January. And please look after yourselves. If you want to get in touch over the festive season, email us at waw@africapodcastnetwork.com. Till then, have an incredible time in spite of yourselves.